Hi, hello, MRMA here, and welcome back to my MRMA Rant show. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that interests me, and I'll get to that in a bit, because first and foremost, I would like to address that yes, I did gain weight. If you look at my chin over here, it's kind of bigger than it used to be, right? That's because, spaghetti, man. Spaghetti is, tasty, I like eating, man. But yeah, I acknowledge na I have to lose weight if I want to no longer have any fat-related problems. Yeah, sige lang. On to the main topic. So, anyone who knows me knows na I am into history. Okay? I don't hide the fact that I would really, really, really like to do historical things. I would like to do research on history, and I would even go as far as to say na I'm a historian, an amateur historian with no educational background on history other than the internet. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. Whenever we're on a road trip, I would go, ooh, that building, that road, it's like this and like that in this year. Yeah, I'm that type of guy. The annoying kind of guy. But it's okay because you'll forget me anyway. So, one of the things that really does scream history are swords. Particularly Philippine swords, particularly Moro swords. Okay? So, these swords are no longer commonplace now, but they used to be in a long, long time ago. See, one of the variants of the Filipino swords are the Moro swords. You see, since I am ethnologically, that's what it's called, since I have Moro blood in me, I wanted to go back to my roots. I wanted to wield swords, yeah. I wanted to learn how to use the swords, yeah. I want to defend my family using the swords, yeah, and then maybe pass it down to my children, give them a knock. Here is my sword. Protect your family with it. I used to have thoughts of those things. And for the longest time, it was just relegated to a very random and unrealistic thought. I would always say, well, it's not bad to dream. Yeah, like that. So, you could imagine my surprise when I heard na my store pala sa Zamboanga that sells swords. There are actual places here in Zamboanga that sell Moro swords. I only ever heard about the Zambo Expo in YouTube, and I didn't know where that was, so that does not count. So I still did not know about it until a few days ago when I researched about swords in the Philippines, in Zamboanga rather. I went, mga panday sa Zamboanga. And then it said, Yakan Village. Wow. So, for the longest time, I thought the Yakan Village was just a little souvenir shop with, Yakan weaved materials, stuff like that. Like weavers, shirts and rags and whatever, scarves, yeah, stuff like that. And those were the only things being sold in the Yakan village because, as some of you may know, the Yakan people are primarily known for their skills in weaving. So, yeah, I was pretty much shocked when I heard that you could buy swords there. You could buy Moro swords. So, I excitedly told my sister, Ate, wanna go to Yakan village? And then she was like, just get some money for gas. I was like, okay, fine, sige. And then, because I overslept, we weren't able to do that. So I asked my uncle instead. And so my uncle brought me there. And lo and behold, the first stall you get to see are the swords, man. Yeah, the swords. So it was a store. I think it was owned by Mr. Ilul. Yeah. Great guy. And you could see that there are a lot of swords there. In the sheaths, you could see the Chris swords, the Pira swords, the Kampilan, and the Barong. You know, you could also see a lot of daggers there, hidden stuff like that. And you know, my eyes, my brain, my very existence was shaken by the knowledge na, uy, may sword shop pala dito sa Pinas, sa Zamboanga rather. May sword shop sa Zamboanga. I thought kailangan mag-order from Holo or from Basilan or from Tawi-Tawi para lang makuha mga to. So that's what I used to think. Apparently not. Okay, so like the excited little boy that I was, I went in and asked, "Excuse me, how much for that sword?" They were like, "Oh, this 2K. What, diba? 2K for sword. 2K for a handmade, beautifully crafted sword, man." And yeah, I asked around a bit more, and essentially what I got is that some of the prices of their products tend to go from 500 pesos, which are the smaller daggers, the small tiny sized daggers that you could practically, you know, like this, shing, and then decorated with curves and stuff like that, and with wooden handles. I don't know what it's called really, but yeah, beautifully carved wooden handles. And those are 500 pesos from what I've heard, from what I learned from him rather. And the bigger swords tend to range from 1,500 to 2,500 up to 12,000. Now the 12,000 would be for the swords with intricate designs on the sheath, as well as in the handle and in the metal engravings, stuff like that. So I really wanted to own a barong and a kris. Mainly because I am a tausug, and the tausugs were notably using those two swords in battle. So the regular tausug infantryman would be using their barong. Oh yeah, slashing. The leaf-shaped barong, which was rumored to have cut down some carbine rifles and stuff like that during the American invasion. And the kris, which is something that everyone knows, is the wavy sword that goes like that. And you know, it's usually used by the nobles and some high-ranking warriors at the time. So obviously, being the history buff that I am, I went and told him that I was interested in buying. You know, so I wanted to buy those things, but I don't have the money right now. So I told him, "Sir, I will come back later with my sister so we can buy these things." Okay? And that was the intention back then. Okay? Now, unfortunately, because of some things, I can't really do that, and I'll get to that in a moment. But for those of you who are interested in buying swords and other products over there, they have chests and gongs and all the other stuff. Yeah, here is the card, Mr. Brainy Ilul. I will be putting the details in the description, so don't you worry. Okay? So yeah, I really do recommend that you guys would go to their store in the Yakan village. You know, the swords, they're really nice. Though some of you might not appreciate the fact that swords like that, metal pieces like that, would cost around 5 to 6K. But if you take into account rather, that those swords were manufactured by an individual with the intent of forming them into that particular form, you would understand that the effort alone makes it worth it. You know, the effort to make such a beautiful piece of art is worth it. And if you also look at the ochre carvings on the sheath, you would understand that such skill can only be achieved by a craftsman and not by a machine. Okay? The craftsman may use a machine, but ultimately it is the craftsman's work. It is his effort, their effort, if I want to be politically correct. So yeah, those things. So the reason as to why I can't buy a sword is because, unfortunately, I did not know about this, but my family made an oath to no longer wield any weapons that can be used for harming others. Okay? So that was a big shock to me, because I went to my family happily strutting along saying, "Ha ha, I want to buy a sword." And they were like, "Sword? No, you can't buy a sword because stuff like that." So the reason as to why I can't buy a sword is because my family believes in peace, not war. Okay? And a lot of people, unfortunately, have died because of people using weapons, Yeah, it's kind of the primary purpose of a weapon. And that's the reason why my family does not want me to buy the Chris and the Barong, because they are afraid that it could be used against us. It could be used against the people. All it takes is one crazy person to grab the Barong, wield it around, and slash you, stab you, and then you're dead. So, understandably, I got upset and I argued with them a bit. And they basically told me that the family has had enough of people killing each other. Okay? And if you wanted to make a change, if you wanted to stop all of those things altogether, then we'd have to do something about it. So, based on their stories, my family basically threw all of the things that they did not need that could be used to kill another person into the sea to never be taken out again. The only things they kept were the self-defense guns, the blades for agricultural work, and all that other stuff. All the other weapons they threw out because we do not want any war and destruction happening in anywhere at all. The last thing we'd want is for people to die because of us. So because of that, we made, or at least my family, made a vow to no longer own any weapons unless it's absolutely necessary. So yeah, the history boy in me was really, really shattered to hear that news, because that meant I could no longer own these historical replicas of the swords that were used during the times of the Sultanate, that was used until 1913. I can no longer use them. So that made me very, very sad. But, I understand why. It's also a noble thing for my family to officially say no to those things, say no to weapons, and to say no to war. But I'm still quite in the mood to buy or to produce something that can at least make me feel like I'm holding a sword. So I wanted to ask them, what about the blunt swords? You can't slash people with blunt swords. They aren't even sharp to stab people. So can I own them? And they were like, nope. You can still sharpen those things, and even though they aren't sharp, you can grab them and hit a person with it, and maybe injure them by breaking their skull, because it's a metallic object, and it has a very, very small surface area. So if you hit a person, all the energy would be transferred to that small area, essentially cracking any bones that it comes in contact with. So yeah, I unfortunately cannot use them for that purpose. However, my parents did tell me I could make wooden weapons that resemble them. So, it's not the best thing to happen, but it's still something good, because at least I can obey the family tradition of saying no to weapons of war, as well as still get to own something that makes me feel like a Tausug warrior. Yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, unfortunate. Even though I can't buy swords, even though I can't own anything that can be used to kill another person outside of necessity, you, the viewer, can. You're still able to do that so long as your family does not have the same philosophy as mine. So if any of you are interested in buying Moro swords, you can go to their stall, to Brainy Ilul's store, there in the Yakan village. Once again, this is not a paid advertisement, okay? It's something that I wanted to tell you guys myself because I feel bad na I can't buy his swords after telling him, I'm interested. I want to buy those swords. Next time, if we come here with my sister, I will buy. You know, so, you know, if you want to own your own sword, then please buy from his store, okay? They're also very, very good, man. So yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. That's all I wanted to explain to you guys. Now you know that I am also someone who, who likes to role play as a historical person. Hence, the outfit, if you don't know what this outfit is, then you will know in 5 years. Inshallah. So yes. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. And that's all I wanted to talk about today. So thank you for watching this particular rant episode of mine. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.